Good morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching JanataTelevision and this is English Bulletin with me, Yutsa Bhattrai. The top stories first. Death toll from coronavirus climbs to 481 in Nepal. Kathmandu sees a surge in infection. DDA takes action against 9 sanitizer companies. 14 substandard sanitizers banned from the market. Government issues ordinances to tackle acid attack instances. Offenders to face up to 20 years in prison. Worldwide death toll from coronavirus eclipses 1 million, nearly 5,000 deaths reported each day on average. And Liverpool come back from behind to win against Arsenal. The champions maintain their perfect start to the season. And now the news in detail. The government has urged the public to take necessary precautions as the risks of COVID-19 infection are still substantially high, stating that lockdown and other restrictive orders have only been eased considering the difficulties faced by the common people to survive. The government has appealed to everyone to follow safety measures to mitigate the infection rate. The government has also requested the public not to force someone for a PCR test without displaying any symptoms. The government's statement comes after Tenians complains of how landlords have been forcing them for PCR test. Similarly, the cabinet also informed that a 5-member negotiation team led by Joint Secretary of the Finance Ministry has been formed for availing the concessional loan worth 9.36 billion rupees from the World Bank. The aid will be utilized for rural business and economic development projects, the government further informed. Likewise, the government has also decided to accept financial aid from the British government worth 3.53 billion rupees for the development of health sector in Nepal. Meanwhile, the number of infection from coronavirus in the country has reached 74,745. The government has confirmed 1,351 new cases of coronavirus across the country. Among them, 649 cases were reported in Kathmandu, while Lalitpur reported 132 new cases and Bhaktapur 40 cases. According to the government, the disease has claimed 4 more lives in Nepal. The death toll has climbed to 481. The Health Ministry yesterday confirmed the deaths of 2 women and 2 men due to coronavirus. According to the ministry, a 38-year-old woman in Sunsari and a 51-year-old woman have become the latest victims of coronavirus. Likewise, a 47-year-old man from Bake and a 34-year-old man from Gulmi also succumbed to the disease. The active cases of coronavirus in the country has surged to 19,624. So far, 54,640 people have recovered from the disease in Nepal. In other news, the Department of Drug Administration has banned the production of 9 more hand sanitizers containing harmful chemical substances. Publishing a notice yesterday, the DDA informed that the production and distribution of 14 hand sanitizers have been prohibited by the administration, citing the use of harmful chemical substances. The department has restricted the production and distribution of herbal tree hand sanitizer, clean hand sanitizer, Kumkum instant hand sanitizer gel, instant hand sanitizer original, Sadhana instant hand sanitizer, Kum hand sanitizer and drone hand sanitizer. Earlier on September 12, the government had first published a list of 5 prohibited hand sanitizer companies. 4 more companies were added to the list, citing the use of harmful chemical substances and substandard quality on September 16. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. Rigorous discussions are undergoing in the Nepal Communist Party regarding the topic of reshuffling the cabinet. The issue has heated up the political environment inside the party, but has yielded no positive result. The chairman duo of Nepal Communist Party, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and Executive Chairman Pushpakamal Dahal, have been involved in multiple rounds of discussions in the past few weeks to reshuffle the cabinet. After the decision to reshuffle the cabinet was made public on Sunday, the chairman duo sat for another round of discussion on Monday as well. However, despite multiple rounds of discussions, agreement has not been reached between the two leaders. According to sources, the meeting on Monday mainly focused on the final number of the cabinet and the role interchanges between the current minister. Similarly, discussion was also held regarding the completion of the party unification process. The Secretariat meeting last Wednesday had given the responsibility of cabinet reshuffle, appointment of heads of constitutional bodies and party unification to the chairman duo. Prime Minister Oli, who is also the party chairman, has been forced into deciding the structure of the new cabinet and has been in multiple rounds of discussions with another chairman, Pushpakamal Dahal. The meeting of the two has also been looked at with great interest as it will yield final results of the cabinet reshuffle. The MPs have also been involved in lobbying for their roles, according to sources. After it was decided that the cabinet reshuffle will be the top agenda of the party's work list, the chairman duo have been involved in multiple rounds of discussions. The government has endorsed two different ordinances for taking stern action against the perpetrators of acid attack. President Vidyadevi Bhandari yesterday authenticated both the ordinance upon the recommendation of the Council of Ministers. A report.
Vidyadevi Bhandari yesterday authenticated Ordinance to Regulate the Use of Acid and Other Harmful Chemical Substances 2020 and the Ordinance to amend the Consolidated Criminal Offence and Criminal Procedure 2020 in an attempt to curb growing acid attacks in the country. The Cabinet had endorsed both the ordinances in an attempt to discourage and mitigate such crime. The Cabinet meeting on Thursday passed the ordinance and sent them to the President for authentication. Minister for Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Shivamaya Tumbahamfe informed that acid attackers will now face strict punishment for their crime.
तेजाब आक्रमणको सन्दर्भमा मुद्दा परेपछि त्यो मुद्दा फिर्ता लिने प्रावधान छैन, माफी मिना पनि हुँदैन, कैद कट्टा पनि हुँदैन। त्यसैले मैले अघि भने 1 सेकेन्ड पनि कसैले छुट हुँदैन भनेको त्यो कैद कट्टा हुँदैन भन्ने एंगलबाट त्यो कुरा बनायो। तर कसैले केही छुट हुँदैन यसमा, जति तोक्यो त्यति नै बस्नुपर्छ जेलमा।
Defining acid attack as a crime of serious offence, activist Ujwal Bikram Thapa said the new laws against the acid attacks will set an example across South Asia. Since acid and related chemical substances do not have domestic use, the sale of such products should be completely prohibited, added Thapa.
पहिलो चरणमा या अहिले त साउथ ईस्ट एसियामा नै हामीले गर्व के गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने सरकारी डाटा अनुसार 17वटा घटना 19वटा भिक्टिम हुँदैखेरि नै यति कडा रूपमा कुनै पनि सरकारले यो मुद्दालाई यस्तो कडा कानुन ल्याएर बन्देज गर्ने प्रयास गरेका छैन। त्यसमा चाहिँ म नेपाल सरकारप्रति कृतज्ञ छु।
The new provisions include jail sentence up to 20 years and a fine of up to 1 million rupees against acid attackers, depending on the gravity of their crime. If the culprit causes damages to the victim's face, eyes, nose, ears, neck and other sensitive parts, the offenders will have to serve up to 20 years in prison. If the victim's other body parts are damaged, the offender will serve 10 years in prison. President Bhandari also authenticated the First Amendment to the Nepal Police and Province Police Office Operation, Supervision and Coordination Ordinance 2020.
And now the news from Economic Front. The Nepal Maharashtra Bank is all set to sell treasury bills worth 3.10 billion. The central bank on Monday issued a tender notice calling for bidders to purchase the treasury bills. The central bank has set a time period of 91 days for the sale of these bills worth 100 million rupees, while 182 days have been set aside for the sale of the treasury bill worth rupees 3 billion. The bank has further informed that a 15% discount will be offered to the non-competitive bidders. The treasury bill is considered as a type of bond collected by the government and the central bank to raise internal loan. We'll be taking a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international and sports news. Welcome back, and now the international news. The worldwide death toll from coronavirus eclipsed 1 million on Tuesday, 9 months into a crisis that has devastated the global economy. According to the Associated Press, the bleak milestone recorded by Johns Hopkins University is greater than the population of Jerusalem or Austin, Texas. It is more than 4 times the number killed in the 2004 earthquake and tsunami in the Indian Ocean. Even then, the figure is almost certainly a vast undercount because of the inadequate or inconsistent testing and reporting and suspected concealment by some countries. And the number continues to mount. Nearly 5,000 deaths are reported each day on average. Parts of Europe are getting hit by a second wave, and the experts fear the same fate may await the US, which accounts for about 205,000 deaths. That is far more than any other country, despite America's wealth and medical resources. The pandemic's toll of 1 million dead in such a limited time rivals some of the gravest threats to public health, past and present. It exceeds annual deaths from AIDS, which last year killed about 690,000 people worldwide. The virus's toll is approaching the 1.5 million global deaths each year from tuberculosis, which regularly kills more people than any other infectious disease. Iran's Revolutionary Guard has unveiled a new ballistic missile with a range of up to 430 miles in the latest escalation of tensions between Tehran and Washington. According to the Associated Press, the new Zulfiqar Bashir missile is an enhanced naval Yarland of the surface-to-air Zulfiqar missile. The news agency reported, citing Iranian officials, that the new missile can travel twice as far as other rockets in Iran's arsenal. Tasnim, an Iranian news agency, published an image of the new missile resting on a launching truck during the inauguration of Tehran's National Aerospace Park on Sunday. Earlier models of the Zulfiqar missile were fired on US targets in Iraq in January in retaliation to the assassination of Qasem Soleimani, the revered Iranian general who led Iran's elite force. They were also used in 2017 and 2018 on Islamic State targets in Syria when the terrorist group was nearing end of its control over the region. The Trump administration has warned Iraq that it will close its embassy in Baghdad if the government does not take swift and decisive action to end persistent attacks on American interests in the country. According to AP, the USA blamed the recent attacks on Iranian-backed militants and rogue armed elements. Amid threats from the US, Iraq's military said a rocket hit near Baghdad airport, killing 5 Iraqi civilians and severely wounding 2 others. A US official said the administration's warning was given to both Iraq's president and prime minister, but that it was not an imminent ultimatum. You are watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. Liverpool demonstrated their determination to retain an iron on their Premier League crown by coming from behind to record a comprehensive victory against Arsenal at Anfield. Arsenal had twice defeated Liverpool in the last two meetings, with the latest one coming in the Community Shield, where they defeated the champions in penalties. The Gunners took an early lead in the match, albeit against the run of play in the 25th minute after Andrew Robertson gifted Alexander Lacazette the ball in the box, which he nearly slotted in the back of the net. Liverpool head back immediately through Sadio Mane in the 28th minute after Mohamed Salah carved through the Gunners' defence. Robertson also redeemed himself in the 34th minute as he found the net to give Liverpool the lead going into the half-time. Arsenal's frontman Lacazette had a couple of chances during the second half to bring the match level, but Liverpool's Brazilian keeper Alisson saved from close range both times. However, the game was sealed in the 88th minute as a new signing Diogo Jota scored from just outside the box to give the Reds all 3 points. The champions continue into their perfect start into the season and are 9 points from 3 matches and stand second in the Premier League behind Leicester City. Royal Challengers Bangalore, RCB and Mumbai Indians played out the second super over thriller of the Indian Premier League 2020 yesterday as Virat Kohli's men came out on top. Earlier, Mumbai Indians had won the toss and decided to bowl first at the Dubai International Stadium. Put into bat first, RCB's opening pair of Devdutt Padikkal and Aaron Finch both scored their 50s and gave the challengers a strong start. A.V. de Villiers scored a quick-fire 54 of 24 deliveries, with Shivam Dume scored 27 from 10 deliveries to help RCB cross the 200-run mark. Chasing the match, Mumbai Indians started off poorly and were 39 for 3 in the 7th over and looked dead and buried. However, a 58-ball 99 from Ishan Kishan with 9 sixes and a blistering 60 runs in 24 balls from Kieron Pollard gave the Mumbai Indians the chance to go level with the RCB's scoreline, but failed to win the match as the scores were tied and the match went to the super over. RCB won the match in the super over as they climbed to 3rd in the table, while Mumbai Indians are pushed to 5th in the final standing. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin and the headlines once again. Death toll from coronavirus climbs to 481 in Nepal. Kathmandu sees a surge in infection. DDA takes action against 9 more sanitizer companies. 14 substandard sanitizers banned from the market. Government issues ordinances to tackle acid attack instances. Offenders to face up to 20 years in prison. Worldwide death toll from coronavirus eclipses 1 million, nearly 5,000 deaths reported each day on average. And Liverpool come back from behind to win against Arsenal. The champions maintain their perfect start to the season. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.